Well, I couldn't resist it. I had to put the grill in. Somebody mentioned it in one of the comments. I did actually try it this morning when I came out, and this time I actually have kind of held it in place with the stops for the hood. The hood actually has to go back. Actually, see it right there. It's got to go back at least, oh, I don't know, a quarter inch almost, maybe a little more. Or the grill has to come out, but it really can't move. Or the fenders need to move forward more. Or whatever. Anyways, it wasn't my plan for tonight to work on this. I was going to do my pulse wiper setup, but I messed up and completely forgot to stop by Fastenal or even Home Depot to see if I could get one of those couplers, threaded couplers to cut down. So I'm either going to make one or I'm going to leave it till tomorrow because I'm going to go back in. And I don't know what I'm doing today. I'll mess around some more with this, I suppose. Because maybe what I'll do is I'll try and put the cowl on, and I want to see how close this hood is going to be to that. Because if I've got a problem, I'd like to know it as soon as possible. So let's put that on, we'll see how we go. Okay, so I put the cowl on, and this gap is a little bit larger on this side than the other side. But it doesn't look too bad, the gap. The alignment isn't great, but I got to put a shim under each bolt on each end of the cowl, so that would bring that up a bit. Looks a little low in the center. I think the cowl, you can actually see it might have been depressed a bit. So I might see if I can just give it a yank, because it's pretty thin sheet metal. The only disappointing thing so far is just how giant this gap is here. I might see if I can bring that cowl back, but I think it's where it sits. So it might be just one of those things you have to live with. Now, I'll show you the other side just so you can see. Gap there is okay. Now, here's where the problem is. As I said before, that hood almost seemed like it needed to come back a quarter inch. Now, it is lining up with the edge of this fender and the edge of this fender. So I'm wondering if that's the way that's probably where that's supposed to sit. So the fact that the grill was coming into contact here might be a factor of two things here. Might be that grill shell, I should say, because the grill is the plastic part in the middle, might be a little bit distorted. You can see that doesn't look quite right there. And it may also be that the grill is meant to stand proud of the fenders a quarter inch or something like that. And that would mean that this piece right here would clear that center section of the grill. I might just go and quickly try that on, but I won't be able to film it because oh, there's a tripod there. It doesn't matter. I think I can tell you the results just as well as show you. Okay, I test fit the grill, and if the grill shell is a quarter inch proud of this, it basically touches in the center. And if you actually looked at it when it was together, or when I had it up against the hood, you could see that the grill shell, this has actually, the actual hood has a sharper point to it than the grill shell does. So I suspect that the grill shell is a little tweaked. So I might see, it's just light aluminum. After I polish it, I might just see if I can kind of tweak it a bit to give it a little bit more of a bend to it. I don't know how easily that's going to be done, but I'll give it a go. We'll see. Now, the easiest thing to do, well, what you're basically trying to do to get a sharper bend on this is you're trying to shrink this center section right here where my thumb is, and bend it up a little bit more. So it may be possible to do. It may even just be that once it's mounted, the pressure from the sides will compress it inwards. But I did notice, bang it a bang. I did notice that this side and this side where one side was actually tight against the bottom of the fenders here and here. Like I could get this side in, but this side I couldn't get in. It was about 1/8 of an inch too long. So the act of actually compressing that into there might help, you know, make that grill shell bend a little more. We'll see. I'm not too worried about it. I think that that'll be fine. But that does mean that this hood is pretty much as far back as it's going to go. Now I will gain a little bit on that side when I pull the hood back a bit. Oh, damn it. Yeah, that is another problem here, is that it seems like the hood doesn't want to completely sit flat. But yeah, this does need to close up probably by almost 1/8 of an inch. So that may, the act of moving that part back a bit might actually give a little bit more room at the front as well. So it may not be as bad as I think. But the profile didn't quite match either. It may be that well, no, that doesn't make any sense. I was going to say maybe that the cowl needs to come forward, but if the cowl comes forward, this gap becomes enormous. So I think we'll work with trying to make the hood move back, and we'll see how we go. I did talk about this gap being kind of wedge-shaped, and it is slightly so, and if this moves back, it means that it closes up on this end. Okay, this is just a giant geometric puzzle. And it's not very forgiving, is it? Anyways, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I suppose I could try and adjust these hinges a bit. See if I can get that to tuck down a bit more. I think I'm going to take the cowl back off, because I think I established that the hood at least can't move back, but it looks like I can't adjust the hood until the cowl is on. So I think I'll be popping this back up. Ooh, that didn't sound right. I think what happened was it caught, this lip here caught on this lip here. Right here, this lip. I don't think it was that it caught on the edge of the top edge of the cowl. There's supposed to be a rubber seal there actually, and it may just be that. Yeah, there's supposed to be screws in here that hold it down. It may just be that that is the case there as well. Oh boy, this is a bit of fun here, isn't it? Yeah, you can see that this is actually sitting up here. It actually, you can actually see what happened to the cowl. Like I said, it was dipped in the center. You can actually see what happened is that pushed down, but it made this edge come up like that from the impact of whatever happened that distorted it. Unlike, more likely than not, when I was storing it myself here. But okay, it's telling me that I really have to get that wiper motor in. Then I can bolt that cowl down hard, and then everything will come off of it in terms of the hood. I think the front fenders are pretty much where I want them. I think what I do want to do is I want to tighten up this gap right here at the bottom. So this fender just needs to kind of tilt like that down a little bit, but we'll see how we go. That's what I'm going to try and achieve by shimming up this cab mount, actually, is to bring the cab higher, which, you know, should make the whole thing essentially go like that at this point here. And we should close this up, should fix that alignment up a little bit, and it'll probably tweak everything. So it's probably the next thing I really have to do. I'm only going to put one shim in there. I stole these from another kit I had, and if I need them for the other kit when I do the half ton that's behind the shop, or the Suburban, or whatever I end up doing, you know, next, then I'll buy another kit and I'll steal them from that one. I'll just chain it down the line, or I'll make a set. You know, something like that's that difficult. It's just a square piece of metal with a hole drilled in it. Anyways, I'm rambling. I am going to do something, or it's the end of the day. So maybe see you later. Well, here at the ADD garage, no day would be complete without something completely unrelated to the work at hand being done. I was digging around looking for the windshield wiper linkages, and found my antenna, which was a brand new antenna I bought, and bolted it in, because why wouldn't you? Actually looks quite nice. I don't think it was that expensive either. Some new things will always help. I filled up the hole that was there as well, although not quite. But maybe that moved down a bit. Anyways, there you go. Unrelated job of the day. Well, I thought I'd mention one last thing before I knock off for the day. And I've decided that I want to make the shimming consistent on both sides. So I'm going to put another set of 1/8 inch shims on the passenger side here. And I'm going to kick the passenger door out enough to match that. And that'll help the door close a little better, and you know, we'll widen out the hood gap a bit, but I think it'll also remove a bit of that wedging that we were seeing, but I think it'll also help the cowl fit better because it was fitting pretty tight in here. And every time I'm putting that cowl on, I'm dinging things up, and I want to make this the last time I put it on, and then we'll be happy. Well, I'll be happy. I don't know about you guys. If you guys aren't happy, nothing I can do to help that. Later.